When violent crime starts happening, then things break down really, really fast. When there's no repercussions for violent crime, and additionally, when there are no repercussions for property crime, people stop caring about ownership. And ownership is literally the gasoline that's in an economy. The only reason people engage in productive activity is because they're doing it so that way they can provide for themselves, so they can provide for their family, so they can feed themselves, pay their bills, and hopefully, get ahead. That's the idea. If you don't have the ability to own property and you can't buy stuff or save your money and someone will just take it away from you, that is a massive disincentive. And things that are going on in New York right now, New York with Donald Trump, it's the
big,
same thing. Yeah, it's big and flashy, and the average person thinks that doesn't apply to me. But as soon as you let that genie out of the bottle, that stuff is going to apply to everybody. As soon as the government looks at you.
Let's just jump to the story right now while we're on it. From the Post-Millennial, woman arrested after trying to remove squatters from her New York home. Yeah. Quote, "I am being arrested for being in my own home." She said as cops escorted her off the property. The other day I was ragging on cops quite a bit. And a lot of people got mad and they said, "Tim, why are you ragging on cops?" Yo, watch the video of this. It's 5 minutes long. It's 4.5 minutes. The cops tried as hard as they could to justify the squatter's presence. Yeah. The house is clearly not theirs. One guy says, "I've been here for 2 days." And they go, "Please, do you have anything that shows you've been here longer than that?" And the guy's like, "No." And they're like, "Well, then we can't help you." And so they escort him out. The woman then goes to change the locks and the cops tell her not to or she'll be arrested. And this is crazy because the cops just removed the squatters knowing they're not tenants or anything. And they still warned her they would arrest her if she changes the locks. She does. The guy comes back with a bill of some sort, no lease, and they say, "Okay," and they arrest the woman.
Right.
Back to blue, baby.
They arrest her for changing the locks. That was the thing. But the two that admitted, there was 2 people that were in there, and they admitted they had only been there a couple days, so they had to leave.
No, one guy said he was there for a couple days. The other guy said, "I live here."
Yeah, and then the guy that said he lived there, he left on his own, but they evicted the cops evicted the 2 guys that were there. But once she changed the locks and he came back with that bill, that's when they arrested her for changing the locks. It's her property.
Right.
I mean, at that point, you do a switch and just pretend it's not your property. But Phil, to your previous point about the ownership, I think what I'm referring to when it comes to this conversation here is this is affecting a relatively small amount of people compared to the general public. Most people aren't dealing with this awful policy affecting their life, right?
Right, because the economy's been destroyed and young people can't afford homes anymore.
Right, exactly. So how are you going to get change when the people that have experienced this and dealt with it, they're obviously going to be as loud as possible looking for change, but how many people do not care because they see this as like they're caring and they're living in New York and they're looking after the little guy. But this is the end result of those, policies that are supposed to be meaning well, I guess. Yeah. I mean, are they even supposed to be meaning well?
How is it even allowed to exist? They are trespassers and they're burglars, basically. I mean, they're stealing your actual home. And to your point about the cops, I was telling James about this on the way up, they know what they're doing is wrong in that moment, and they still do it anyway. That's atrocious.
Why do these laws exist? I would imagine it has something to do with evictions, right? Like you can't just evict somebody the next day. You can't just call them and
that's
say
landlord
you're done.
Tenant stuff. But it's a squatter who actually never had any claim.
He has no lease.
It blows my mind that this is even a thing.
It absolutely.
I can't even think.
The principal issue is that people on the right, and that includes post-liberal, it includes normies, people who are outside of the cult. This woman, she thinks, "I am honest and I am morally correct and therefore I will win."